Now is not a great time to get disappeared. When is? I'm curious. When is a great time to get disappeared?
It's the same time that it's a good time to have a baby. Like never, but you just have to kind of fit it in where it happens.
I
It's a great day to die.
guess.
So anyway, we do actually need to choose a name for
Say the cancel
our
word.
additional guest. Would you like to say
You
hello?
just gotta fit it in.
Additional guest?
I'm an additional guest.
Wait, you're a who, a what guest?
I think
Additional guest.
I think that should just be your name. I think it should be your
Plus
online
one.
moniker and just fuck with them. Your name is additional guest.
Additional guest.
Hey,
Chattington.
sup, Addie?
Addie.
Well, yeah, because you're additional guests.
I like it.
ADD.
Yeah.
I need
I tend to give people
Where to
names
do
like
this.
that.
I do too.
So,
What if
Sup,
your name
This
was
is why we
Anita
trust
Bong
you,
Hit?
June.
What's that?
What if your name was Anita Bong Hit?
neat.
I think
Needy.
that's you on the nose. You know what I mean?
Is it?
Yeah.
I mean,
the
if I had to
Anita
go to
part,
witness
that is.
protection, that would be my name.
Okay, what about Amanda Hug and Kiss? Like that's a good name. Like that'll
I'm
fuck
looking
with
for
people.
Amanda Hug and Kiss.
I'm looking for Amanda Hug and Kiss.
How about
Okay.
LSD?
LSD.
No, the
LSD.
one. Well,
LSD
the
to
one
go with
back.
MJP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember that the
Good
one
old Ellis.
Lesbian sex dance.
when
That's a good one. That's a name.
Mike Hunt.
Mike Hunt.
Oh yeah.
Michael Hawk.
Billy D loved LSD.
Love me a good Simpsons reference.
Let the
There's
right.
a marriage made
I
in
want-
heaven.
You know what I want? I want somebody to do like a conspiracy thing where they take the movie Let the Right One In and they just fold it right so it looks like Lennon.
I wrote Addie
Let the-
down
let the
already.
Like
lid
a
in.
plastic Mad
That is quite fine
magazine,
with
like
me.
fold-in cover.
Don't be afraid to crank you guys' volumes up. That's fine.
Oh yeah, that was my next thing was how is our volumes? Because I fucked with all of this as I was moving it into my kitchen.
Just a dash up. You went in your kitchen. You have a kitchen in this economy?
Right.
That's the only thing I have. I traded it for my bedroom.
His retirement
got-
plan is to have an Airbnb chain. He's a fucking.
I got an empty. I got an empty drain and a hot plate.
Empty drain on a hot plate.
You have a hot plate, Lucky?
No. I had to fight to
Your
the death for that
drain
one.
is empty. Lucky.
I live in a dishwasher box. At least I have a dishwasher though.
That's true. Now you just need a house to
Very
put it
true.
in and you'll be winning.
Well, I mean,
Hey, that's where we could put Fetterman.
you can't have.
Do we want to start? Do we want to start on the golem, or do you want to start on something spicy?
Did you say on the golem?
Yeah, on the golem.
On the golem.
I do like spice. I am known for liking spices.
Let's go with spice.
Okay.
We're
If it's
going
the other
so
day-
hard this morning.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to be
Let's go
so
scary
prepared
spice.
to tell everyone that these are in Minecraft jokes.
Oh yeah.
Scary spice the freak. Let's do it.
Okay, we're going. Okay, so I don't know if you heard about my new wife. I don't know if you heard about the new woman I've married.
Oh God.
She just needs some soup for her family after our little family guffaw. Our
Does that
family
mean I can have your
guffaw
old
in
wife?
Minnesota.
Does that mean I can have your old wife?
No.
Oh.
That's freedom of
No.
property.
You don't let me do anything.
I don't
hate it
let
here.
you do anything.
Is it
Wait,
property?
Dan,
is
when
it
did
tradable property
you-
or is it
Yeah,
reparations?
we're abolishing private property.
Is it
Yeah,
reparations?
it's reparations.
Dan, when did you join
I'm entitled
the
to have your
fundamental
wife.
LDS church?
You can have my new wife. You can have Shiloh Hendricks, my new wife. Would you like to see her and what she did?
Oh God.
No, I don't need to see her for
No.
her to get on that damn corner.
You don't need to see her to get on it. You know, if listen, I'm putting it out here. If you're familiar with my new wife, Shiloh Hendricks, what you should do is you should definitely, throw her a cocktail party.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Throw her a cocktail party.
I don't know what.
In fact,
this
have you
reference
seen her?
is.
Because she owes me some
You
motherfucking
need to
money.
understand the double entendre in order to enjoy it.
Yeah, you gotta throw her a cocktail party. If you're if you see her in Minnesota Park, throw her a cocktail party. Throw a cocktail
That
party.
bitch.
Wait, are
Yeah.
we all talking about this picture?
Sorry,
Apparently.
the penny just
Sorry.
dropped.
I
Dan,
wasn't paying
sorry.
attention either.
Wait a minute. We're talking about this picture?
You're a
What
Nazi.
Who's in it?
Well, you are
I
what
think
you
that
date.
was a
I think
soundboard.
that's-
Shiloh Hendricks Strauss. Okay, is she Shiloh or is one of the golden retrievers Shiloh?
No, she's Shiloh.
She's Shiloh.
Yeah.
Is she important?
Well, she's the woman who
Actually,
started
both
hurling
of
the
the
N-word at an
puppies,
autistic boy.
Wait,
both
And I
of those
You're a
repeat,
puppies
Nazi.
are Shiloh.
Yeah.
But I heard autistic puppies is all I heard.
She was that wonderful white lady there has been hurling the
Uh-huh.
N-word at autistic children in public.
Oh, as one does.
Yeah.
Does it
Wait a minute. Wait, whoa.
does it make a
where's-
difference if they're white autistic
Wait,
children?
how does she
Yeah.
know that they're autistic when she's rolling by? Like, is she catcalling like she's driving down the street and has like a sixth sense?
She has autism sense.
Like, oh, that kid's definitely autistic, and then just winds
she
down the
just-
window and.
there's a
You know what I
random
mean?
act of racism, and then it's just like, oh, okay, they're autistic. Let me double
Well,
down.
I'm just saying, maybe we recruit her into like the JFK can like bring her on
Are you-
and like help with the
With the
RFK
testing.
with the identification, with the brainworm stuff, with the registry. She can
What's the brainworm?
she can
stuff?
do like Miss Chloe style, walk like like, here's all I'm saying. If you put a collar and walk her down the street and she can sniff out autistic people, it saves you a lot of trouble of finding them. You know what I
That's
mean?
true. You don't need to
She's
pay
gonna
her
be
money.
she's
Then
gonna be
you can
the
breed. Hey, you can breed scientific cop dogs, canines.
Let's not get scientific involved.
Well, I'm just saying because like then
Spectrum
here in the
Hunter,
states,
now on Fox.
Next you're gonna tell me to get
I can
back.
then
stand
here
the
in the
cop.
states, RFK could use them.
Oh, it's RFK, not yeah, that's right. It's
D-
brainworm.
He
brain
could
damage.
he could have canine autism units
Canine
that would just
autism.
go and sniff out all the autistic kids in
No,
any
wait a minute.
in any
Are the
particular
canines
neighborhood.
autistic?
No, but the canines can
Or-
smell trains.
Okay, got it. And that's where autistic people congregate. So if you
Right.
find trains, you find autistic kids.
That's the theory, anyway. Now it's kind of bigoted because they also like airplanes and automobiles, but
That's fair.
yeah, they have diverse interests. We don't need to pretend like they're just like
And big boy time.
And big boy bucks.
they like big boy bucks too.
Trains are interesting, and here's why I think they are interesting. It's because they have windows, and
Mhm.
so does a house. Okay, but
Yeah.
a train moves, and a house doesn't. So I don't think it's the windows that makes the train move at all.
I think you're right. I think you got this one.
Holy shit.
I think you figured this one out, dude.
What if they just get all the autistics and send them to real trains out in China?
They'd be super into that.
They would be
They're not enthused by American trains, I'll tell you that much.
They would be really into Chinese trains, and like apparently Shiloh here can just hunt them out. Like on top of the fact that she's a level 10 racist, she's a top tier racist. You know what I mean? Like she's got that going for her, but now she's also
Only
the
a couple
autistic
levels
hunter.
from Grand Dragon.
Yeah, she starts at wizard level.
Isn't
Yeah.
like Elon like paying people to have his children because he's trying to like pull a Genghis Khan or something like that? Maybe this is just her being a pick me online.
It is.
He is the wackest Genghis Khan that could ever have
Well, that's
existed.
true.
He
He
is
is
you
the
have pillaged
wackest-
nothing, sir.
wackest
You have
Khan.
But
pillaged
in the age of
fucking
computers,
nothing.
like Genghis Khan had a horse and a bow, and this nerd has a laptop. It's very depressing.
It is.
And like
He had skills.
capitalism.
He kept that empire together.
Yeah.
Actually,
You
he just
put
kind
you
of had
put you
money.
put Elon in the empire for 2 seconds. He fucks everything up.
Genghis. Skills.
Oh no, Genghis is dope. Yeah, no, yeah, dope.
Even his name is weak compared
This
to
is the
Genghis.
worst
Genghis
yeah, I know.
Khan.
Musk.
Right?
Musk.
That's made up.
Who's
and,
supposed
like,
to be scared of that? Elon.
It's the what about instead of like son of a woman? What if the movie was son of a fat man who didn't wash proper?
With that oddly weird bulge.
Yeah. Well, he is shaped like number
Scent
one.
of a musty.
Yeah, scent of
Isn't that-
scent of a musty air conditioner.
I think Seagal would
What is
sue
race
if
science instead of what is a woman?
Yeah.
Steven Seagal would definitely sue if you use that.
What is
I think
phrenology?
He's copyright.
Oh. Oh man. Oh, you really want? Do you really? Okay. I promise I will end I promise I will end the discourse tonight on what organ produces freedom.
Okay. I feel like I was tasked with defending your position and I don't agree with it. So that's
Yeah.
the true reason why we're here.
Oh, we have to tussle.
No, I don't
I'll-
agree with you, but there are many things that we discussed that I don't agree with you on.
It sucks being wrong, doesn't it?
I don't know. You'd have to tell me.
Well, I can tell how you feel. It is bad.
Trains are great because you can kick racist bitches out of it,
Trains
and
are.
it's very satisfying.
Trains can be used for evil. We're talking Germany. Trains could be used for
Mhm.
good if we put the Germans on trains and then ran them into other trains
And
full
then
of
kick them
Germans.
out. Yeah, kick them out. Kick them out into the dirt.
Yeah.
Head
No.
first.
We make sure they can't get out of the trains, and then we crash them head on into other trains full of Nazis.
I'm
And
just
then
Well, you want
like
them
concerned
to think that they
about the male
escaped.
trains competing in woman train sports.
woman trains.
What is a trade?
Yeah.
All trains are
Matt
flat.
Walsh. Matt Walsh just furrowing his brow and staring at it through his beard. He's like, "What is a train? What is?
And
Does it enter
dozens
the
of
tunnel?
autistic people
Is it the
really
same
excited to
train?
explain it.
Is it the same train on the other side of the tunnel? We
If you put a
don't know.
fancy little hat on this
But we do
train,
know my
is
new
this still a
racist
train?
girlfriend, Shiloh Hendricks, said the N-word 5 times to a small child.
Oh, just in, she went missing.
Whoa, did she?
No, I don't know. I don't know.
Damn, that would have
Is
been
it
a
El
lot cooler.
Salvador?
I'm just saying that money better cover better cover bodyguards
She's
for
trying
quite a
to.
while.
Okay, where's she trying to relocate from? From Minnesota Park. A Minnesota woman. So she's trying to relocate from Minnesota, and she's like, "Oh my god, I need to
Oh,
go
that
to a
says it
state where
all.
they can say the N-word. I gotta go to Potter County, Pennsylvania."
It's already in Minnesota.
Altoona.
Yeah, it's like I have to get there now. I have
Go to
to do it.
Wisconsin.
I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful that she has like I'm like, look, I did black people arm tats, but I also hate black people. Like look how based I am
Mhm.
other whites.
Mhm.
Is that what based means? Is that what it means, bitch?
Maybe.
I said
When's
it.
the last time you've based?
I free based.
Well, you see what she was
I
doing
feel
with
like
that
that's not
turkey
the same thing.
baster. I don't know if I would call that based, but it's what she was doing.
Yeah.
Is based the antonym of woke suddenly in this vocabulary? Like, is that how it works?
No.
Nah.
They're like
Are they
this.
I mean,
synonyms?
in their
Based is the opposite of Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Benny.
There goes my hero.
okay. So what would
Playing
a
with his
conservative
train
consider
set.
based?
There goes my
I
hero.
didn't hear
missed
that.
tune.
I only heard
What'd you say?
hero.
Not getting in the way of his wife's boyfriend.
Every racist in the world right now is jumping head over heels like, oh shit, I gotta get this one. This is the keeper.
Yeah.
She gonna have all my white babies and treat me like she gonna be mommy and have all my white babies and wash all
What'd you
my
ask again?
undies and fold them nicely. And I'm gonna beat her because I'm probably a copper fascist or some shit. It's just natural.
Elon Musk is going to propose that he has sex with her. He's going to be like, I'm sorry, you have to get rid of the tattoos. They will piss with your ovaries in the wrong way.
Yeah, they gave her $250,000, but
Get bread.
it comes with the stipulations he's got to fuck Musk.
I like how these women are like, if I fuck Elon Musk, I'm gonna have like $1 million, and like it's just a Jessica Tandy meme every time. Like, you stupid slut. There's not gonna be any penetration.
Mm-mm.
He's just gonna throw. He literally just have doctors just scoop it up out of a fucking vat and just pour it in there with a pump.
You see, I saw this. I set this up early with the based. You see it?
I did.
You see it? It's totally based. She's gonna be totally based.
He wanted, I'll say this: he wanted that Asian woman to have his babies, and I think he dumped her because he was like, "Oh, I can't have Asian babies. Half Asian babies, like half Asian males never reproduce." He's like,
He draws the line at Asian.
yeah, he's like, I draw the
He's
line.
more hardcore than your usual races.
I'm perfectly happy with the N-word and comfortable with it, but I draw the line at race mixing. All right, that's why you're a Nazi.
So you think he would go for a nice warm Italian,
Yeah,
like a hot Italian and cheese?
yeah, he'd pick an Italian, but like that Asian woman who was just like, no, we're not gonna have sex. He was just like, well, you're Asian, so you can't have money or be on my platform anymore. This is for whites.
Yeah. Poor
Because
girl.
you notice there's a lot of black right wing women that he's mysteriously has not like. He hasn't been like, hey, Stacey Cash, you want to make $50 million? You notice he hasn't done that, right?
His pickup line. You
Yeah.
want to make $50 million? Here's a turkey baster.
He did use "Do You Want a Pony?"
Oh, he's
Right.
Michael Jackson now.
Uh huh.
Ooh.
He is one of the ones who agreed with Matt Walsh's breedable assessment. And by breedable assessment, Matt Walsh was like, we need to hunt 15-year-olds who are breedable. And it's like, do you?
Oh.
Is that the
Like
thing?
church group.
Yeah, like a church group. Is that
Yeah.
is that the thing we need to be doing? I don't know, Matt. That sounds like child rape. That sounds.
So
Talking about
what
you.
qualifies breedable? Is it just, your taste? What about your taste make them breedable?
Someone who will let you cream pie. Is that?
the,
Or is it at least not going to fight back while you do it?
Oh.
Oh.
Oh,
Legally-
yeah, they're rapists.
legally these
are
I don't feel like I
just-
went too
no.
far because they're rapists. We're beginning the premise with rape, so if I bring in the rape, then it's already there. So
I don't know. The logic doesn't necessarily hold up in a court of law.
It's
I'm
fine.
gonna go with that.
You were literally asking for
well,
it.
we know that they don't know that.
That's not how that works.
He'll say in court, Your Honor, she didn't fight back.
Ooh.
Weird question. Is there a structure you guys have, or is this long freeform? Yeah, it's just long freehand. We don't think.
Yeah, no, we have a vague topic that we're dancing around getting to because we're just having too much fun dunking the right.
Yeah, we are a vague con. Who is that? Is that the new guy?
That's Zach.
Okay.
It was the speaker formerly known as Addy.
Boom.
I like that. You need a symbol now. We need to get you a Prince-like symbol for that, like an Ankh plus something. Addy rolls pretty good. All right, so yeah, no. All right, we're gonna move. I think we're gonna move on from Shiloh Hendricks, the white woman in Minnesota, who, if you see her, toast her with a cocktail because she loves saying the N-words to small black autistic children. And at black men who are like, "Hey, lady, you can't talk like that." That's when she's like, "Oh, I can't talk like that." Time to show you that I do know how that word is spelled.
Oh, they're so tough punching down on black people's kids.
Yeah. It's really like, oh, that's a hard ass thing you did. Oh wow. Oh, did you bully a 5-year-old autistic boy? Like, first off, you gotta bully them a very specific way. They might not even know what you're doing. So like, good job. You're fucking dumb. Like, good job.
You're just bad at bullying.
You're bad at bullying. You're like, excuse me, I'm in Unite the White, and I'm shitty at bullying. So fuck you, nerd. Oh, okay. Yeah. Unite the White. What a stupid rally that was. But anyway, moving on from who I will call Le Dumb de Bitch, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Tell me about your golem.
Yeah, so the golem. Oh boy.
I refuse to read this.
Well, good news. I have the whole article.
I could only get through like 6 paragraphs, and I lost my shit and had to rage from the liberal bullshit that's coming into my brain. I literally seized up and started frothing at the mouth and going, ah!
Ben Terrace, New York's Washington correspondent. We never do this, so this is a special. This is a special night. That's how you know we have a guest. The stars aligned and that I prepared something with 5 minutes worth. Okay. So this article starts. It's called All by Himself, right? This story was featured in One Great Story, but we're getting it from New York's reading recommendation newsletter. That's where we're getting this from, and I'm getting it specifically from like the website. I stole it, nymag.com, just completely. Get fucked. Control A, Control C, Control V. ACV, baby. That's how you get this stuff. So, it starts. When John Fetterman was released from Walter Reed Hospital in March 2023, Adam Gentleson, his then chief of staff, was proud of his boss for seeking help for what the senator's office and his doctor said was a case of clinical depression. He had 6 weeks of inpatient care. He had a stroke months before being elected to the Senate in 22. I am paraphrasing a little bit, shortening a little bit, and nearly derailing his campaign, which had nearly derailed his campaign against Republican Mehmet Oz. And a year after his release from the hospital, Fetterman's behavior had so alarmed Gentleson that he had resigned his position. So, stopping here for a moment, what could possibly have freaked him the fuck out? Was it like when he like 3-1 gang banged all the members of Benjamin Netanyahu and his security team? Like was that what freaked Gentleson out? Like I don't know. I'm curious. What behaviors do we remember him doing that were just weird and not normal? Ooh.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't remember quite that far back. So much has happened in the past fucking 100 days.
We're talking about Jason Fetterman, the populist. Yeah.
We'll put that in air quotes.
Well, I mean, if you go far enough right, you claim populism, right? Like that's their whole shtick.
Yeah, like remember if you're
so if we're cracking theories open, I don't know anything about Fetterman. I should, but you know, he gets in office, has a stroke, and by the time he wakes up, he's like, "Hey, all these bags of money I'm being offered are really attractive."
Yeah.
That's what I think happened. I guess he's gonna wear hoodies and accept bags of money while he's in his fucking retirement home.
Cutting snaps.
Unfortunately, he's gonna live for the next 30 fucking years for some reason.
That is the most logical explanation.
So obviously can't be true.
Right.
He'll die in a day.
Well, I mean, a worm already ate his brain, so there's not much left going on in there.
RFK2?
Yeah. And somehow he was the better option, right? Wasn't he against Dr. fucking Oz?
Yeah, he was against Dr.
Oz. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, what kind of a world? And whenever you're like, you know what, as far as Republicans go, Schwarzenegger wasn't that bad.
By comparison, I guess.
Maybe he didn't have enough power.
I mean,
if we have to pick from all of the reality TV stars that we have that are Republican for the opposition party, if you want to go.
Governor, you barely touched your baby. You got to finish that.
Right.
You're saying he was the least bad actor politician combo so far.
He was the lesser of two evils.
I think he makes me want to shove my fingers down my throat the least of the on the right.
Definitely not the worst.
He said good things about gerrymandering.
Yeah.
Party was
and really he was really demonized because he fucked his maid. You know what I mean? And like who hasn't?
Normal in his set.
Who hasn't fucked his maid?
And in hers, actually.
What's the point of being a maid if you can't be fucked by Arnold Schwarzenegger? You think she went in and cleaned his ficus not to get some ficus? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What party was?
Why you gotta do that? There's so many girls that would just throw it at him for free.
I would go at him for free. What are you talking about? Have you ever read up on Arnold Schwarzenegger? He's awesome.
Okay. Okay. If you say so. I'm just gonna end the file. I'm gonna just
Oh, Arnold. Just Arnold talking to his lawyer, you know, he's like, get her to the bag of money. Why, Arnold? Why do we need to get her to the bag of money? Because I did a rap.
So how many steps away from Nazi is he?
Schwarzenegger?
Yeah.
When he was trying to go from he's first off he's Austrian, so we need to jot that down, right? I'm just gonna say it. This podcast does not approve of Austrians running any place but Austria.
Agreed.
Firmly
Very
against
specific.
it. Very specific for a
Didn't,
reason.
didn't the Von Traps have a hotel?
Yeah, the Von Traps had a hotel. Should not have been allowed to. I think if Donald Trump were to ban Austrians from holding property, any American property on any American soil, or threaten trade relations with any country that lets Austrian hold property outside of Austria, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'd be like, well, he did one good thing. The Austrians need to be curbed. It's because of what they did. And they act like they don't know what they did, but I'm going to tell you right now, there's a guy whose initials are
nose in
AH.
it?
There's a guy whose
You just shove their
initials are
nose in it?
AH. Yeah, you got to rub their nose in it. Like, that's what you get through all of history until you acknowledge that it's your fault. Because you couldn't
see
keep one of your
nothing.
goddamn. Yeah, well, like, you read the book. Like, I've read the book. You couldn't keep that fucking bratty kid in line, and that's what happened? Like, no, you don't get to own property until you take care of your own.
Or provide more funding to art schools.
You know,
Well,
he's
how
like
did it happen?
Kanye, but he was not successful at art.
At any kind of art.
I got a question. I got a history question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did it happen that Germany let itself be run by a guy from another country? Is it because Germany wasn't really a country either? So
that's part of it. You got to figure it wasn't really Germany until he took over. Technically, it was like Prussia and a bunch of fucking joke states.
Germany is a land without people? Question mark.
Germany's kind of like it's really just a bunch of Germanic people with a fucking fake country. And I know all countries are fake, but this one's super fake because like Prussia was like, those people are racially German, and we should definitely own them in Greater Prussia. That's where Berlin's at, but they're like, they're not really Germans. Like they're kind of.
They're 8.
I gotta say, the more I learn
people in a
about
trench
about Nazis, the more Israel makes more sense.
Yeah, like they were just like, what if we just modeled ourselves after the Nazi Party? Like, well, okay, that's a thing you can do. I don't think it's a good idea.
what do they call those fights? Battle Royale? Is that when you like put a bunch of fighters just like all in the same place and they just like try to myrtleize each other and be the last one standing?
Good word.
Yeah, last man standing. Yeah.
All right.
Who's it got to be a man?
If I and tell me if you think this is accurate.
Last amoeba standing.
I picture Germany as like they created a nation out of a battle royale situation.
I don't know.
I imagine
and
it's
that
like
can't
filthy
be healthy for
scum.
them or anyone on any side of them.
Yeah, they kind of like. I mean, that's
is that kind of right?
Not entirely.
More right
wrong.
than wrong.
Yeah, it's more right than wrong.
You're not wrong, and that's better than 90% of the shit that's out right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. I don't specifically know if they rewrote the laws to let him run, or if they didn't have a law preventing him from running, or if they had a law that if you were in a Germanic territory you could run. I actually don't know. I'm gonna be real.
I feel like they bent the rules just for him because he was fucking. You know how they do. Oh, this guy's great. He has got wonderful ideas.
And it never can happen again.
Yeah.
Winston Churchill was like, I love this dude.
3 days.
What's that?
And on Tyranny, it said that he took control of the nation in 53 days. I don't remember the exact agenda. It was an analog for Trump's ascension and what his plan is. And it was written back in like the 2016 or whatever. So, but the general gist of it is when he seized control of the nation, it was in 53 days, calendar days.
Yeah,
he went from his first elected position in the government, his first he was government adjacent, if you will, and then from there to 53 days, he had control.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing is Elon fucked up. He could have been in charge.
Like
I don't like that because that. I don't like that because that dismisses all the regular rank and file Nazis.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
Oh yeah, no, I think that was that was the culmination of his point on Tyranny was he was calling for, in a single chapter, blanket opposition at all times, and he pointed that exact point out. If it wasn't for the bureaucracy and the people that did the paperwork for Hitler, then, and the people that did the paperwork for Mussolini, then the people that were out in the field shooting the bullets wouldn't have existed, because the supply chains wouldn't have existed. The lawyers wouldn't have existed that defended, their actions, and the journalists that worked for them wouldn't have existed. Like, these people didn't do inherently violent things, but he had to condemn them, and he said this is the cause for blanket opposition. If you just keep going along with it, even if you're an accountant, you're the same thing as the guy squeezing the trigger out in the field. This is the point that he made. So yeah, he did speak to that, and yeah, he said 53 days was his breakdown of and he was kind of the reason he was making the analog is because he wanted to kind of say, hey, this is what Trump is going to do. And if you look at Trump's first 100 days, I think that he's right on with that.
No, you figure though, Trump took power on day one. He's fucking president. They don't get higher than that. Like in Hitler's case, he had to be handed he had to be handed that rank, and then he had to be like, I'm just going to declare myself.
It's taken 100 days to get to the point where
just to be
clear, ignores Supreme Court orders.
Just to be clear, Steve Bannon pretty much just walked out all of these points that On Tyranny lays down. It's like you can go 1-to-1 with these, and you can watch the YouTube videos of Steve Bannon talking, and then look at, I think it's Timothy Snyder writes On Tyranny. And it's like the same idea is presented, that it has to be really quick and sudden. And it's just once he got control, everyone was just like, oh, fucking too afraid to change the status quo. I guess this is just how things are now. Kind of like you're seeing,
a little bit of survivorship bias there. The ones that were like, oh, I guess we're just rolling with fascism now. We're definitely not the people who were already murdered and sent out and exiled. Yeah. Those were your resistors.
Both literally and figuratively, I presume you mean?
Well, you figure too. You figure at that time when Hitler was coming to power, the fucking Communist Party and the Social Democrats were locked in an internal power struggle. And the Social Democrats backed the guy who ended up fucking handing all the power over to Hitler. Funny enough, actually, this is my favorite parallel to history, right? It was because the communists were quote unquote too mean to the Social Democrats, which was like,
they will betray you.
Which is why I'm here for my
Seriously?
regular views.
Who said that?
The Social Democrats love being fucking shit on anyway. That's why they hang out with us in the first fucking place. I don't want to hear it.
It's their kink.
Their
kink is verbal abuse and treason.
Answer.
They are. It's their and I don't kink shame. I'm like, I need somebody to pick on too. But like, Jesus Christ, man.
Maybe we should kink shame that. Maybe we should be specifically kink shaming that behavior. If anything is shameful, is it not that?
Mark said. Mark said he broke down, everybody that fucks with communism and everybody's feelings on it, and he said, "Listen, Social Democrats are bitches." Like, this is a direct quote. He's like, "Social Democrats are bitches," right?
That's where bitches come from.
We gotta work with them. We gotta work with them because they have the car. You know what I mean? And so like, we need to drive to the fucking place that burned down. So like, you got to hang out with Social Democrats. That was his fucking direct quote.
To be fair, his take on it was like, yeah, just let them fight. You make them fight you make them fight the Nazis and tire themselves out. You can work adjacent to them when you're working on the same thing, but what you want to be doing is you want them to be fighting the other assholes. Because you want that social democratic movement to fall apart and fall into communism. They're intentional resistance by the system, but because they're not robots, right? They're people. People have their idiosyncrasies. You can exploit the fact that on things they will differ with the capitalists and they will fight. And you can work adjacent to that. And just when people are like, well, what about the social democrats? I back them too. You kind of you do. You don't support them, but you don't fucking freak out if people are leading that direction, because what they're leading away from is the thing you don't like. Because Marx did not my favorite philosopher there did not have a specific take on whether or not you do reformism or revolution. He wasn't by any hook or crook, any means necessary. So
what? You don't want to rehash the debate over violence or not a billion times over?
Another
in a masturbatory manner?
Which is a pointless debate if you're like an orthodox Marxist or a reformist Marxist or whatever. Tag the word Marxist on, and your opinion should be like, whatever gets us there, you got to quit freaking out.
the systems that do the oppressing, you can't use the systems that are doing the oppressing to fix the systems doing the oppressing.
You can't use them to directly fix the problem. Like those things will not directly fix the problem, no. But
Right.
you can exploit their existence to your benefit.
Wipe your ass with the
Yeah,
Constitution
you
and
can
write a
use
new one.
you can use the bullets that they make to shoot them with.
Right. Just because you have to reorganize the factory doesn't mean that the factory, the building, the errant empty building is the enemy. It's how the
Well, the
factory.
CEO's house might be, we might not need it.
Well, right.
Well,
there
yeah, I
are
mean,
some
they
things.
turn those to house
You know what
kiddos
I'm
in
saying?
schools,
Like, let's not get
Cuba style.
like, we don't need all the buildings, is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got
Well,
you.
no one said that. You can do Cuba style and
Buildings
turn
lives
their
matter.
mansions into schools and museums.
It's reverse
and...
racism to buildings to not destroy a few of them.
I'm just saying, like,
Please, for the love of God, never say reverse racism again.
No,
it makes me so fucking mad every time.
It's reverse. What would reverse racism? Wouldn't that just be reparations? Like, wouldn't that just be that? Like, what if we paid reparations for the racist shit we did? Because you'd be trying to reverse the racism. I like how it's
Okay,
like.
yeah, I will
think
accept
that's what they're
reverse
trying. I think
racism.
that's what the term is trying to be evocative of, but it's one of those double think. It's
I
the
will
opposite.
accept reverse
It's kind of like
racism.
what's the abortion stance? The
Pro-life.
Pro-life. Yeah, it's double speak.
Yeah.
It's the opposite. It's supposed to evoke the opposite image.
I will accept reverse racism when black people have all the power in this country. That's when I'll accept it. Then I can say, yeah, it's reverse racism.
It's all lives matter. It's the same shit.
Until we have the power to kick you out of a job because you're too white, then it's not reverse racism.
Listen, we really want to hire you, but that name, Timothy, it's just
Timothy?
not.
The fuck out of here,
not the look-
Timothy.
It's not the look that this company's
Gregory.
trying to give.
Well, what you gonna do, Timmy? You gonna get us some fucking mayonnaise? Huh? You gonna get us some hot dogs? Get your ass out of here, Timmy.
Blake.
Blake, are we going down to the lake, Blake? We gonna jet ski, Blake? Listen to a little Blake Lively, Blake. We gonna do that, Blake?
Is that a fucking bow tie?
No,
I swear to fucking God. Fuck out of here, Tucker Carlson.
Chaz in your bow tie. Look at you. Did your mama tie that bow tie for you, you little bitch?
I bet he wears a bow tie when he has sex. Oh boy.
So, back up just 1 second. I missed
I'm a fan of the subtler forms of, teasing someone with racism. Like you don't have to say anything. You can just kind of like put your hands up and squint when they come out of the house. The reacts, I think the kids call them.
Yeah, and when the cops are coming, we should be the ones excited for them to show up.
Yeah. We're gonna need Soviet police to do that. I do like.
Mr.
Like
Officer, send him to the gulag.
Yeah, I do like the debate on the Soviet police too. Like, all cops are bastards. That concludes the Soviet police. Like, come on, the country doesn't even exist. This is a moot point. Shut the fuck up.
Batman's a cop.
Batman
is a bastard.
Yeah,
Batman is a cop.
Batman also beats up poor people.
Batman's a cop. That's why.
He's a
vigilante. All these rich people out here can for sure try to be Batman, but none of them are trying it.
Well, I mean, it depends.
Well, a lot of them do beat up poor people, so they're basically just Batman.
No, wait a minute. Wait, instead of like using their money to fix infrastructure, they're building cool tanks and getting in suits and dressing up. How is that not Katy Perry? I'm just saying.
I am the darkness. I am the night.
So Batman's father was a fucking doctor and like built trains for the city. You know what I mean? Like, Batman was pissed off, so he's beating up mentally ill people on the streets. What are we talking about? He's a cop.
Batman.
Who's his best friend? Was Commissioner Gordon? He's a fucking cop. He's a fucking cop.
Batman does sound like
he's worse. He's a rich cop.
Like he's got auto-tune.
Okay, check it out. His apprentice Robin grows up at a motherfucking orphanage, right? The orphanage
Also
funded
not
by
correct.
his dime, right?
Yeah.
Robin grows up to be what? A cop in the movie because it's a pipeline. You see, it's a police pipeline. Batman, all cops are bastards.
Yeah.
And this
no,
is why the Joker did nothing wrong.
he's a billionaire. He is a billionaire. Bernie Getz is who he is. If you're
I
familiar
think
with
it's
Joker's
worse
just
than that.
misunderstood.
Like he's got an orphanage for like troubled children, and he
Yeah.
takes a young one under his wing.
Right. There you go.
to
See, now you see? And then he turns
Millionaires
into
and
his like little
billionaires
buddy that hangs
not
out
be
with him at
flying
his
around
mansion.
and
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Is
Like
Robin 325? Nobody.
millionaire and
his
billionaire
butler's an
oligarchs and constantly running
ex-paramilitary.
around
You
in
know what I mean?
spandex.
His butler's ex-paramilitary. He's a cop.
All I'm saying is this: between Batman and Superman, one of them worked for Mossad. Okay, and it was not the boy from Kansas. So.
Batman doesn't believe in international extradition laws. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a cop.
Yeah, he's like, oh, anybody who does crimes to Israel is gonna get theirs.
What do you mean the cops are doing the international extradition?
I mean, bringing people back.
Yeah.
He brought people back to America. Batman did.
So Batman walks into El Salvador.
Yeah, and he's like, sweet, this rocks. This is everything I love.
Is that a murder pit? That's fucking metal.
I think it's beautiful that like Superman fought the Nazis, right? And like Batman's like, I gotta fight the Lebanese who are trying to stop Israel.
Well, don't forget, then Superman became a Nazi.
Well, but that's specifically okay. That's not fair though, because when Superman becomes a Nazi, right? That is when Batman has basically conspired to fuck his life up, and then the Joker comes along and kills Lois, and then Batman's like, "You don't get to fucking act like that." Like, I'm mad at the Joker. I'm going to kill him. So he's like, "Okay, fuck all of you." Also, second, that's in an alternative, one of the alternate timelines, which is specifically coded as, what if everything went to shit because Superman was a Nazi? Like,
It's the premise of the timeline.
But I'm just saying, it's the most realistic timeline, according to history.
yeah. Like, it's specifically coded as bad, whereas, like, Batman being a hero by working with the fucking Mossad to attack Arabs just because the Joker showed up in the country. They're just collateral damage that Batman's like, fuck him. I don't give a shit about the sand. Boop! And they're like, Batman, you can't say that. And he's like, I'll find the Joker. I'll find him.
Joker.
Riddle me this, Batman. How many brown kids did you beat asses did you beat last night?
Joker! I'm gonna get.
Yeah,
he's
I'm
like,
gonna
make sure
I
you
don't kill
die.
people. And then he like runs up on teenagers that are starving on the street
breaks
trying
their
to sell a
fucking
bag of
legs.
fucking weed and just beats
Yeah.
the shit out of him in this
Right.
giant bat costume at midnight. He was
Yeah.
traumatized by one small bat. He's like this whole ass 6'3" ninja. You know what I mean? He's like, I don't kill people though.
Joker.
Maybe that's why they end up in the fucking insane asylum, dude.
I don't
Joker.
kill people,
My
but
man was
I
just
know they
trying to
don't
get
have
his
health
money sack.
insurance.
What the
It doesn't matter if you bomb Tehran. You won't get
Don't you
72
say.
virgins, Joker.
Where are all
Batman
the
doesn't
other
kill
drugs
people.
going?
The trauma he inflicts kills people.
Joker.
He leaves them for the American healthcare system.
Turns out the Joker's scars was actually from Batman. He beat him up as a kid.
Shit.
Oh shit, we need Luigi versus Batman.
Oh my god.
The Batman's up on the fucking rooftop and he's like, Commissioner Gordon, what we gotta do is we gotta buy buckets of pig's blood. We're gonna have you dip your bullets and batons in them. That'll scare off the Arabs. And he's like, Batman, the problem isn't Arabs. Two-Face has robbed 3 banks today. We gotta be vigilant. Joker's an Arab.
Right.
I don't
Batman's a cop. If somebody hit the money,
Yeah,
he'd be the
exactly.
first one there.
Well,
Even in the movie, he's like, hey man, there's this mass murderer going around shooting people, and then there's this dude that's trying to like fuck with the money. Who are we gonna go after? Oh yeah, definitely the money. Definitely.
He's literally down at the docks just going through the work. He's like, which one of you is from Lebanon? Which one of you is from Lebanon? I'm sorry. Anti-Arab Batman is really making me laugh because it's a real thing. Like, there's a book of that shit. That's just a thing that they fucking did.
Riddle me this, Batman.
So, did it as like Al Qaeda.
Yeah, no. He's just like, what if the Lebanese were all evil in the Batman universe? That's what the author wrote. What if all of them were just bad? Because the Ayatollah Khomeini.
Hold up. This was an officially sanctioned like issue or strip or I don't know what you call comic things.
It's from like 83. It's from like 83, so it's like back when we were like trying to demonize all the Arabs and like, oh my god, it even has Joker in a head shawl like he's some sort of like sheik or something like that.
What series was that?
Let me look.
Got to be a Detective Comics run from the 80s.
No. Batman.
Yeah, you don't want to dig into 80s comics runs. I assure you, you do not.
I think it's the death of Jason Todd.
This was post the death of Jason Todd. Javi's autism is activating. Here we go. So post the death of Jason Todd, the writers fled the Joker to become the UN ambassador of Iran.
Yeah.
So that he had political clout, sufficient political clout that he had to be saved.
Do you also notice how they also demonize the concept of like diplomatic immunity and like negotiation with Iran there?
Yeah. It was the 80s.
I also like how they treat
Reagan?
They also treat the Iranians like they're Arabs and they're not. They're Persians, and it's like that's Reagan. It was Reagan's time. That's racism, you know.
Yeah.
3 years into Reagan's run. Joker.
Mr. Freeze did nothing wrong.
Joker, you think you've won this round, but I made sure that those little shrimps you like aren't halal. Batman, I'm just going to blow up a bus full of kids, but the shrimps won't be halal, Joker. You'll be violating Allah's laws. You won't be able to do it, Joker. Okay, Bruce, I'm just gonna blow it up now. No, Joker, you can't. Then Robin's like, it's okay, Batman, they were Arabs. And he's like, okay, Joker, that makes it a little better. I'm okay with that. And Joker's like, wow, that's just racist, Batman.
Wow.
Yeah. It's all right,
wow,
Joker.
Batman.
Joker,
okay?
I won't kill anybody, but I've procured several thousand pounds of fertilizer and a lot of buses for you.
Batgirl shows up. She's like, yeah, so he hasn't been the same since the last election.
I've been hanging out with Frank Miller.
I don't know. He just sits in his house and watches Fox News all day.
It's a woke conspiracy. Frank and I are angry at it.
We're actually really concerned. We have no idea what to do.
Frank and I are really bad at the Arabs. The Joker.
Oh yes, Master
Joker,
Bruce.
you think you've won this
the
one?
Arabs. Let's get you to bed.
Joker, you think you've won this one? I've covered this entire suit in pig's blood. Do you realize that, like, okay, so like the Batman in the 80s, right? He's like 30 then, right? So like he's like 70s, and like this is when Batman Beyond happens. And Terry McGinnis is just like, gee, I don't know, Batman. I don't think I care that much about Arabs. Like, have you seen what the far right is doing in this country? They're patriots.
We must stop them.
They're patriots, Terry.
Yeah, he goes back and finds some clippings. Like, I wonder what happened with Batman.
Yeah.
Batman's anti-Arab tirade. Oh.
He's just a Fox News contributor now, but he's like not filling out the suit quite as much anymore. But it's still fully armored and everything, so he's like just walking really slowly every time he's in the Fox News building.
Batman, why are you wearing a thin blue line Punisher on your shirt?
We've noticed, Batman, that you've changed your uniform a little bit. You still have the cowl with the bat ears, but now your chest has the thin blue line flag. It's an odd choice.
Get taken to copyright court.
Can we also ask about what's written on your cape? It says there that Hitler has a complicated subject. Could you explain that one? Did you explain that, Batman? It is.
No. It just has the K word.
Did you know that the Grand Mufti is the one who convinced Hitler to do the Holocaust? That's an anti-Semitic conspiracy, Batman. No, it's true. Okay, Batman, what's on your mind today?
Batman doing a tirade about the Soros-funded weather, Jewish blazers.
What's on your mind today, Batman? The Soviets did the Holodomor. The Ukrainians were eating their kids within 2 days. That Puerto Rican keeps stealing my medicine. There's a Uyghur genocide.
I gotta get over to China.
I gotta stop Xi Jinping. Only Then Terry McGinnis shows up as like, Batman, do not cause. Listen, Batman, don't cause an international incident. Shut up, Terry. Did you know Terry's the Batman? He just does the Bush thing live on air and fucking outs him as the Batman. Oh shit.
They have WMD.
I just had like the worst idea ever flash into my brain. It's like, all right, you have to save the world. You have to go back in time and prevent Scalia from dying when he did.
Oh.
Moral quandary. Dun, dun, dun.
Juniper, why?
Okay, anyway, back to Fetterman.
So maybe we should go back to the topic of Congress being a nursing home.
I still don't know what's happening to my fucking golem. What have you done to my poor golemy child?
If I can go back in time, I'm not saving anybody. I'm going back to that Tuesday I had a really good taco in 2014.
I'm just cucking Hitler's dad. Like, if I go back in time, I'm just banging his mom.
How do you know you just won't invent Super Hitler? Stop overthinking this.
Yeah, you quit overthinking it. I'm just gonna bang his mom. Like, clearly, I'm Hitler's dad. Like in this scenario.
What? Please, someone tell me what has happened to my golem child.
Okay.
If I got a time machine, I'm grabbing MLK and Malcolm X and taking them about 200 years ahead of time.
All right, you ready?
Here, have fun, guys.
So, Gentleson sent a 1,600-word email with the subject line "Concerns" to Fetterman's doctor. From the listing from the mundane, he eats fast food multiple times a day. Again, I am paraphrasing. To deeper concerns, like we don't know if he's taking his meds, and his behavior frequently suggests he is not. He's exhibiting conspiratorial thinking, megalomania. For example, claiming to be the most knowledgeable source on Israel and Gaza around high highs and low lows, bipolar disorder, right? Or manic depression.
Did you see the alternate title for that article?
What's that?
It was saying he may be a danger to himself and others.
Yeah, he's on long, rambling,
repetitive self-centered. ...
Yeah. He's also going through long, rambling, repetitive, and self-centered monologues, lying in ways that are painfully, awkwardly obvious to everyone in the room. Who does that sound like, for the record?
That's what I'm saying. It's every single member. Like, if they get a psychologist in that bitch, it is done.
It is done.
It is done for all of them. All of them. It's just a big old nursing home, and they're all fucking off their meds. That's it. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, he's also apparently purchased a gun recently.
Kanye West. Why not?
Yeah. He's also recently purchased a gun, and he apparently he's like, I have a biometric safe, and it's like, you've been lying about everything else, John.
You're a Nazi.
He's not allowed around his kids. Yeah. He's not allowed around his kids anymore, right? There was one particular clip. Excuse me.
Is that a thing? Like, is that conjecture? Like, what? Not allowed around his kids anymore. What do you mean?
He's just not allowed around his kids.
Well, how do you know that?
It's quote unquote in the article.
I remember that in the article.
I'm inferring.
He's got me because I can't read.
Yep.
Okay. You're now
right
you're reading between the lines. You're reporting on what the article said, and I'm fact checking you.
Yeah.
It didn't say.
Well,
that.
I was trained as
him. You're fact checking the article.
I was trained as a gonzo journalist, so
as a gonzo journalist.
yeah, so you have to forgive me. I'm taking some leeways. And I did say I was paraphrasing. There's a lot more here.
You graduate.
Mescaline, a hell of a
King of
drug.
Cohen.
So Gentleson continues that originally they were hoping for a Fetterman 2028 machine. However, it is apparently switched to now, hoping that he kind of gives up on politics. And this is my favorite part, right? Gentleson is a little bit of his background. He's a Washington insider. He's worked for a liberal think tank and written a book about the filibuster. He was working for Harry Reid, which I would honestly be like, that's a good thing. That's a start. However, he says his disagreements with Fetterman are by and large not political, but rather an expression of genuine worry for Fetterman's well-being, right? Because he believes in Fetterman, the Fetterman project. What's that?
I mean, anyone who had worked for him would have to say that if they are still part of the machine.
Right. And
I gotta interject here. What the fuck do they mean by Fetterman Project?
Well, I want to get to that. Let me finish that, and then we can go back to open discussion. So, the Gentleson says he believes in the Fetterman Project, which largely is that the Democrats would benefit from punching left more often, and that voters crave a heterodox candidate willing to stick a thumb in the eye of his own party.
Oh God.
Populist movement.
Remember how they were like, we need a leftist Joe Rogan? They're like, we need a leftist Trump.
Yeah.
But not your left.
Yeah, it's like what we could use is Donald Trump. Like there's a lot of
they need a leftist blank period.
Trying
in the sentence.
They're trying to build a woman on paper. They just haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah, as soon as they get there, weird science will solve this
As
problem.
soon as they hire Matt Walsh, they'll be gold.
They're writing it on a chalkboard, and then once they get it figured out, they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And
We've got the boobs down.
We've
got the breasts.
Weird science.
The breasts. We don't know what to do next.
So here's what you can do. I mean, it's hard now because we don't have magazines.
Yeah.
Like,
the fuck is a chromosome?
So you can't scan them into the computer, but maybe there's some way you could get those images of the perfect candidate digitally and get you have the same computer program that they did in Weird Science, and instead of inventing Kelly LeBrock, you invent
young Bernie Sanders.
It's that Trump. It's that weird Trump sex doll with the mouth open.
Trump for the Democrats. It sounds like that's what the Fetterman Project is.
Yeah, that would fail for sure.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Democrats are like partially awake to some topics, and Fetterman's stance would make him very unpopular on a couple of them.
Well, I think the article is implying that the project has some issues.
the article suggests that there was the issue of the whole project.
Yeah.
What if we just build a Trump?
Suppose we build a large
wooden That's what they want.
Yeah, that sounds right.
There are a lot of Democrats who are craving for a liberal Trump, i.e. a Trump that projects competence, a Trump that projects an allegiance to vague democratic values and norms, and then otherwise just continues to smooth out the edges of capitalism while leaving the most brutal parts going. A Trump that would still, what they would have preferred from Harris is more boisterousness in a manner that would have conveyed her instead of her kind of projecting like an unspoken continuance of the Biden agenda, they would have much preferred that she was a little bit more aggressive in defending something like Israel or Wall Street.
Should have taken a stance on Israel and trans rights. Should have won.
If she had, yes. That's I tend to believe at least she would have fared better. I think she would have fared better in those states where she failed and that cost her the election.
She tried to take too centrist of a view after Trump and Biden was put in, and people were tired because he was just a geriatric prop. Yeah, we kicked the can down the road, and then it came back around.
Yeah.
Right.
Turns out the road was a cul-de-sac the whole time.
And we're like, certainly the fact that she's a woman isn't going to make this risky, right? It's the right level of risk. And then they're like, oh, people really still hate women. Oh.
Yeah, and to overcome that, what they decided was like, what if she just ran as Joe Biden, the candidate everybody's claiming to hate right now?
And let's go get the safest, whitest fucking man to prop up behind her just to make sure that people don't think she's too radical.
Well, no, with Tim Walz, like they did project him initially as a radical. The problem
Okay,
is
but
then
if
they
you're
divided
watching him
God.
on mute and he's leaning over the hood of a Chevy, if you don't think that he was trying to connect with Fox viewers, being like, "Hey, we were both alive 100 years ago.
That's after
We
they
both
were
know
already.
what a carburetor is.
That's after
I
they
drive a
got the
stick."
bump.
that was them being like, "Black woman, let's offset it, old white man."
I got to interject. That was after they had got ruined by Liz Cheney.
Yeah,
remember early on they first announced it and they were like, Kamala, she's great and she was winning and everybody was like, oh shit, what are we gonna fucking do? And then all of a sudden they were like, yeah, we're just gonna go to the right, and everybody was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, if you recall, the campaign originally was aren't the fucking Republicans weird and gross?
It was.
Yeah,
And then,
they should have stuck to that. They should have stuck to that. That was Rad Libs that shut that down.
Yeah.
They probably pulled everyone aside and were like, "Hey, I feel bad we're calling them names." It's like, do you hear what they're calling you, you dumb whore? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
How did we lose? I mean, we got a lead and we just immediately started going in the direction of our enemies. So it was communist.
The aisle. I think that Rad Libs, the only word they know is bipartisan, and they just use it for everything. Like, this is bipartisan toast. I just bought it at the store.
Yeah.
You found it. You found the left-wing dog whistle. You found it.
Yeah, bipartisan is a huge one.
Along with respectability politics.
Yep.
But is like
decorum.
It has the same value as Collins finding something concerning.
Yeah. Well, you know what, with Collins and Murkowski, like individually, and I mean this with all disrespect, I am tired of both the Democrats running to them as if they're going to be reasonable Republicans, because there's not a goddamn thing they haven't voted for. If Collins and Murkowski were presented with the Clitoral Reduction Act.
Clitoral?
Yeah, wherein women would be generally mutilated.
Like oranges and limes, the clitoris fruit?
Yeah, if they were presented with the Clitoral Reduction Act, wherein like the twofold things would happen: the poor would have to pay a 10% sales tax, and also all women who make less than $75,000 a year had to undergo genital mutilation. Murkowski and Collins would both furrow their brow and go, "This is not what the Republican Party is about," and then vote yes. Like, that's how that would happen. Like it has every other fucking time the Republicans have done something.
Fucking exactly.
Yeah, so like when people are like, we need to appeal to Lisa Murkowski and Susan fucking Collins, here's a better idea. Why doesn't Chuck Schumer hit them both with a fucking bat? Because I don't know if you know this, but if you hit them both in the ribs, they will break and then they won't be able to vote. You know, when they're like, oh, these people are so fucking radical. Did you know that Eric Swalwell is only in his 40s and he could swing an axe like a fucking freak?
Swallow's an awesome name.
Yeah, Swalwell's a pretty good name. I'm just saying, he could chad the fuck out in that Congress and nobody will stop him. Nobody's going to fucking be able to run through Eric Swalwell. He will be able to. It's kind of like when we have that debate, how many kids do you think you could kick ass on in like one run? Swalwell could at least tank through 10 Republican senators, and bam, they would not have a majority.
Yeah.
He's a pussy.
Is there a Republican senator under the age of like 60?
Yeah. Republican senators. But it's not like he couldn't take Josh Hawley. Josh Hawley's a little bitch, though. He could take out Hawley. He could take out Ted Cruz. Lindsey Graham is 9,000 years old. He's ripe for the kicking.
Yeah. And also, Lindsey Graham is the most effete man that has ever been a Republican.
Graham would be a lot happier if he came out with
nursing home bum fights.
It really is, yeah. Hold on, John Thune, 50.
How much money do you think we could raise by selling tickets to that?
I would watch every single episode. I would watch it 100 fucking times. I would watch so much. It would be all I ever watch in the house.
It would even make
these motherfuckers beat each other up.
Watchable.
Yeah, Tom Cotton. There's another one that just needs to fucking go to. Tim Scott could take him. Tim Scott could probably.
Bro, give me Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi with slightly sharpened butter knives. I'm gold.
Chris knives each. May that knife chip and shatter.
If Swalwell pops off, Tommy yeah. Okay, hold on. Let's look at the birthdays. Chuck Grassley going down. Sanders, don't get in the way. Mitch McConnell going down. Jim Risch going down. Angus King, he's an all right guy. We're going to ignore him. Dick Durbin going down. You should take him down with it. Richard Blumenthal, on the fence about him. Ed Markey, he's fine, but he is old. Let's see. Who else are we doing? My God, these Democrats. They're all in their 70s for the fucking record. All of them. John Boozman, 74, Republican, done. Deb Fisher, 74-year-old Republican. She's cooked. Jim Justice, cooked. Also, Jim Rapist. Let's get your name right, okay? This lie about what your last name is. I'm not even kidding you on the next one. Mike Crapo. Roger Wicker. Okay, all right. You just, again, get your last name right. That's clearly, you're clearly Shiloh's best friend. John Kennedy. That guy needs it. Work him over, Eric. I will buy the batons you need to just beat the shit out of that guy. Go for it. John Cornyn, there's another one. Take him down. Hickenlooper, you tell him to vote right or those ankles are gone. Marsha Blackburn, 72 years old, cooked. John Barroso, cooked. Rick Scott, interestingly enough, Nosferatu, that was his birth name. So I don't know if you're taking him down with a stick, but I will buy him.
The official name is Count Orlok.
Count Orlok, got it. So Nosferatu it is. We use the slurs in this house. Susan Collins, 72 years old bitch. Shelley Moore Capito. Jerry Moran.
In this house, got some slurs in this house.
Yep. Cynthia Lummis. We did Tommy Tuberville. Mike Rounds, probably Mark Warner, let's be real. Ron Johnson, Lindsey Graham is 69 years old. Jesus Christ, we're stuck with him for 30 more years. Holy shit. Holy shit. So yeah, all those names, up until Lindsey Graham, all of them 70-year-old people, a lot of them conservative Democrats or Republicans. Eric could work them. And I think he's a rep. It's fine. He'll get him. Murkowski is 67 years old. Come the fuck on.
Murkowski's. I suspect Murkowski's more piss and vinegar than it's worth in the fight. We'll say Murkowski for the end. That's good bonus money for C-SPAN.
You got to get Tom Cotton. You know what? I'm gonna call this right now. We got to get Klobuchar a baseball bat. The club will take out all these motherfuckers. We're working them. And take out Adam Schiff while you're at it. Fuck that guy. You know, everyone's like, you got to defend Adam Schiff because the Republicans hate him. And here's a better idea, let those two fight. If it bullies Adam Schiff out of Congress, good. That's one that can go. Now we need to bully fucking Jim Justice and Mike Crapo.
What a name.
What a name. Holy shit. Lisa Blunt Rochester, black woman, Democratic from Delaware. Come the fuck on, Blunt. That's rude. Rand Paul, there's a guy we know whose ribs cannot take a pounding now. All I'm saying is, Eric, you can get in there. He can't fight back. One threat of violence and he is disciplined. Pete Ricketts, are you fucking kidding me? You were born in 64. You're anti-vax and your last name is Ricketts. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm just going to rate the senators on their looks. Dave McCormick, unfortunately, you would have been good looking like 90 years ago. The problem is you're 59, you're fat now.
You're still muted.
Who's muted?
Did this just become Smash or Pass?
It will. Next time, I think we're going to do Smash or Pass on the Republican senators. Spoiler
maybe
alert, it's all Smash
Ilhan
with a
Omar
bat.
with the spike bat. Ilhan Omar with the spike bat. That's
Yeah.
my bet.
Okay, all right, let's see if it's
That's
true.
what I'd roll with.
We're going to do a little racism test right here. If you're right, Ilhan Omar's husband brother gets one run at all the Republican senators, and he gets a bat with razor blades in it. So if that guy, if this alleged fucking racist trope exists, he gets a chance to kill most of you. That's how we'll make it fair. Otherwise, not only do you have to stop saying it, but you have to explore each other's bodies on live TV.
I did not need that visual.
I just want to see Josh Hawley forced to explore Ted Cruz, and Ted just really enjoying it and having to pretend he's not.
It's like that scene in that show with the mayonnaise and the principal.
Yeah, it's like that show with the mayonnaise and the principal, exactly. By the way, the youngest senator is John Ossoff at 38.
Yeah.
Yeah, one guy.
He has a functioning heart valve.
Yep, he has one functioning heart valve at least.
Don't worry. By the time he's done with his term, he won't.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I mean, that's if he doesn't replace his blood with young blood.
Yeah.
As they like to do.
Where's Tom Cohen at? Oh, he's 47. Son of a bitch. We're stuck with that Gen X piece of shit. And Alyssa Slotkin. By the way, I'm finding that there's like, if your name is Alyssa or Elissa, like, fuck you. How about that?
Wow, now hold on.
No, this is a very personal. This is a very personal fight for him.
This is a very personal fight for me. You don't want involved in this one. All I want to say right here, Alyssa Slotkin, when she's like, we need to take back patriotism and Christianity. Hey, how about this instead? Go fuck yourself, you fucking CIA spook. How about that? How about you take your ass out of Congress and they investigate you for what is assuredly a series of murders on behalf of an Israeli pedophile? Huh? How about that? Again, there's another person of the Republicans like she's murdering kids for Israel. Like, let them cook. Let them fight. Let them go. Let them deal with it. That's their problem. We got no dog in that fight.
Bipartisan.
It's not bipartisan. Because what we secretly hope is that Slotkin kills a bunch of them too. Right? Like, what we want to happen there is we want the Republicans to go after her legally for what is, again, assuredly a series of murders to help cover up a Mossad asset / pedophile.
Sir, you just solved term limits.
I did. And then I want them to go after her and, like, her just getting so mad that she's like, how dare you? And she kills, like, 3 of them. Like, let them fight. Let them cook. It's fine.
So, do I still have a golem child, or?
So anyway, back to your golem. A lot of the article is then like them like, oh my god, everything's so rough for John and he's having a rough time, blah blah blah, and then after the race in 22, he's freaking out about his career and shit, right?
Sure.
And then it goes on to talk about how some of his more erratic behavior is sucking Trump's dick, which, like, if he's already in the MAGA sphere, right? He's already behaving exactly like every other person in MAGA. Why wouldn't he do the Trump blow banging? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that is the definitional entry point for it. So.
Right. So, like, if you're already doing the conspiracy theory shit, the megalomania, the mental illness, the untreated fucking myriad of diseases and brain problems, right? If you're then, like, going to be like, I draw the line at having sex with Donald Trump, like, that's a really low bar there, Gentleson. Which, by the way, I actually, like, I'm going to say this. This is going to surprise a lot of people, right? But I'm on the record. I really hope Fetterman is as irresponsible with firearms as Gentleson claims he is. And I really want those two guys to patch up and hang out more.
Where's Dick Cheney when you need him?
Exactly. Exactly. You get it. I'm really hoping that, like, Fetterman's like, hey, Gentleson, you want to play with my gun? And he's like, check it out. It's the safety's on. And then he's like, psych. Yeah, yeah, Fetterman. Fetterman's just like, hey, Gentleson, you want to see where my dad keeps the gun? It's like, aren't you the owner? He's like, yeah.
I have to say though that I never thought I'd have to say you have to hand it to Dick Cheney, but like getting the apology for getting in the way of his gun is just chef's kiss.
Yeah, imagine shooting somebody in the face.
So amazing.
That's what you get whenever you're secretly actually been the president the whole time.
I don't think that was a secret, bud.
Secretly.
I guess
I mean,
what I'm
Bush's
saying
face
is
is still on a lot of shit.
That's because Dick Cheney is smart as fuck and was like, no. You be a clown and dance.
Yeah. I mean, who cares? My point is, like, I aspire to, like, one day be like, yeah, and I'm gonna need you to publicly apologize for me injuring you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some ice cold shit to do to a hater.
That's some Judge Judy shit
Real.
right there.
That is like Suge Knight in his prime type shit.
And you gotta regulate, man.
Dick Cheney is the white Suge Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that checks out.
He is the, if you will, white knight.
Ayo.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Hell yeah. Okay, so the last thing I promised was the rights debate, which is my favorite. So
Oh boy.
Yep. Anybody want to take a question or swing on how we interpret rights here around these parts?
This is the eponymous question that I do a poor job defending because I agree with you.
I've heard this one too many times.
What organ produces rights?
So I'm just gonna do plugs and shout outs before we finish this. We got 24.75 hours until Star Wars Day, and KG93 is sexy as fuck. There's my shout outs. And for my plugs, follow MJP, bro. Follow Mindful Wellness. Follow everybody here.
Yeah. So, and this is why.
And I'm gonna peace out, guys. I don't need to hear this one again.
Peace out, MJP.
Later.
Love you.
Yeah, much love. All right. Yeah. So when it comes to rights, the conception is that your rights are inalienable, and there's a real problem with that. And you already touched on it. They're called cops, who can literally just turn you cold whenever they feel like it, whenever they get bored. Since they have the ability to do that, your conception of rights, if you find them to be inalienable, is just wrong. The reality just tells you that's wrong, because they can just kill you whenever they fucking feel like it.
See, the problem that I have is I don't want that to be the rights of cops, though.
It doesn't matter if you don't want it to. It's demonstrable that they are the rights of cops. It's not about what you want. It's about what is when you're analyzing what actually rights are in relationship to you, where they come from, and how you exercise them properly. So when you start that interpretation, if you just go, I don't like that.
I don't like that. Wait. So when we're defining like what is a right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a difference between saying like, well, I do have the right to do X, Y, and Z, while knowing full well that if it chose, the system could strip that away from you, and there's literally nothing you can do in the moment, but you can pursue it through the court and maybe be successful.
So the right there is the right to have legal litigation about something, which actually isn't a right because you have to be alive to exercise that. And again, the police have the power to turn you off at any moment. Mm-hmm. And mind you, it doesn't just have to come, like I'm talking about it as if it was strictly only the power of a governing body, right? If we remove,
well, I mean, like, what if your governing body is God?
Then you're stupid.
Well, then you have a better shot of your rights not being infringed upon by a governing body because he's not real. You have really good odds there, but nobody's governing body has actually ever been Yahe-Vohe or...
Yeah, I mean, the non-consensual governing body that you exist under doesn't understand that there is a higher power.
It'll certainly claim there is. That's one of their justifications. It'll certainly claim that. So when you're like absorbing these things, right? You can have your rights infringed upon from that. You can have it infringed upon by a corporation. You can have it infringed upon by a corporate hitman, well, I mean, the Pinkertons are a death squad, right? Like, let's call Pinkertons what they actually are. They are an extrajudicial death squad. So you can have them infringed upon by them.
What was the thesis? Are we trying to say that rights exist or don't exist?
Where rights come from? What rights actually are? In disproving natural rights.
Oh, I'm not entirely sure they exist.
They do exist, but they're contextual.
It's a quaint idea.
Yeah, so with them, right, like we have all these things that like can infringe upon your rights by simply killing you or detaining you, right? And beyond that, like if you're in the wrong kind of social relationships, right? And we've seen that with something like a Jeffrey Dahmer, or John Wayne Gacy, right? Those people can infringe upon your rights because they can just turn you cold. They'll just kill you, right? So what we can demonstrate pretty quickly is rights are not an internal object. They are not inalienable from the human form and condition. They are entirely contingent upon the material arrangements of the human condition.
Yeah, they're tools for power and social control.
Yeah, it depends on what rights and for who. It's a social
dictator
construct.
might ignore human rights and say they're because it's political legitimacy.
Yeah, I just don't believe in human rights either. I don't believe those are a thing intrinsically, which is not in the sense that I don't think you should treat people a certain way.
It's like a Western construct.
Right, it is a Western construct. It's how you're supposed to behave. I don't believe in that in the sense that, like, I don't think that's something that actually is real because there's no demonstration that it's actually being enforced. There's no social mechanism that is enforcing a notion of human rights, so I think that's all bullshit. That's talk that I just don't give a fuck about.
Wait, there's what? Can you say that again?
Sure. There's no human construct enforcing that right, protecting people's quote-unquote human rights. So that's just a notion I personally don't give a fuck about. The notion of human rights are silly. It's just an abstract ideal at best.
Yeah.
It means nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights has no legal enforcement.
Right. And the people who could legally enforce it actively choose not to.
Yeah, unless you're like the middle class and we need you as a buffer.
Even them, the goal has been to eradicate any notion of the middle class because, like, and to be fair, the middle class is reactionary by its very character. So, like, if the reactionaries want to eradicate it and we can pin the crime on them, good on them. Let's do it.
I don't know. All my readings suggest that the 1% wants the middle class to exist.
So, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like at this point we've gotten to rights are what the people who enforce that shit say you have.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, they're entirely based on your social relations. It's all rights are. There's no organ in the human body that produces rights intrinsically. The body doesn't do that. And I'm going to go a step farther. Like, if you're on the left and you genuinely believe in something like a right to abortion, a right to ad hoc abortion, a right to at-need abortion, right? We can't risk having a legal battle between a dying pregnant woman and the person, for at the very least, who has contributed genetic material to the creation of that child. We can't have them locked in a legal battle over whose rights should supersede the other. we have to very much consider enforcing those rights based on who's alive right now and who's potentially alive, and side with the person who is alive that could continue to be alive instead of taking a gamble, because we have to value those rights a certain way. We don't want to get locked into some sort of notion of quote unquote inalienable rights that aren't material conditions dependent, because that gives them a lot of justification to make the arguments they're making. Because if you believe in the human as a matter of existing having rights, then you can't really make an argument for women having control over that reproductive force purely by themselves or within the relationship of their distinct medical care, as it probably ought to be. And when I say probably, because I believe it ought to be, but I could be wrong in the loosest sense. But we definitely.
So this is an argument against natural rights, correct?
Deeply against the concept of natural rights being the governing left modality.
And that's John Locke's stuff. That's John Locke's. He championed that, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
John Locke. A lot of people have championed natural rights, but John Locke is the one we point to demonstrably for being like, this is why you should do it, blah blah blah. Which like is it's really rich coming from a guy who owned a lot of fucking slaves. You know.
Well, I mean, he didn't.
And when I say own them, I mean own them as transitory property as he sold them off. So like it's real rich that this guy was like, yeah, clearly these rights are inalienable. And then like, you know, also like a lot of those arguments come from, of course, like you know, guys like Thomas Jefferson and shit like that.
Slave monger. Let me tell you about ethics.
Yeah. A lot, yeah, that's kind of true, right? A lot of slave owners really want to tell you about the idea of inalienable rights. Like, I wonder why you're vested in that. I wonder why you in particular are vested in that notion. That's all I'm saying. So like, yeah, I don't buy those arguments. I don't buy them as an underlying justification, modus operandi. However you want to get into it, I just don't buy that shit. Now, if you were to be like, humans have rights, yeah, but they're conditional. They're whatever society will actually defend. That's what rights humans have. That's how I view it. I don't view it as some inalienable thing, and that we're just like violating. Because like I'm not a religious person, so I don't believe there's something inalienable endowed by our Creator, right? I don't believe that there's something in our very nature that gives us rights. I think humans beings do a lot of things, like the man-machine model, and I also think that whatever rights we decide we have mutually and enforce through our actions, and when they are violated, enforced through retribution and amelioration of grievance, I think those are rights that exist, and everything else is bullshit.
It's a human construct.
Yeah.
And because humans came up with the idea of rights, it's really something. It's a thing agreed upon in the mind and in the actions, or not.
Correcto. Yeah. So that's the big argument. There's the justification why, because it's overwhelmingly demonstrable that's bullshit. And like the source is bullshit. The argument is bullshit, and the consequences of following through on that argument are in conflict with any other leftist belief. It's very hard to believe. You know, it's hard to believe that, like I said, the banal one actually is the abortion argument. It's hard to believe in abortion if you believe that bullshit, because now you're killing somebody who's like, you're actually just killing a person. You've moved beyond. You've now like what you end up doing is you've created the inalienable right of women to murder babies. That sounds fucking horrific. Nobody wants that right to be inalienable. But what we do want is that women have a right to health care for their own endurance. Because women, you know, and it's also a matter of like inalienable rights kind of backward us into a notion of the human as a being of utility, which is also Locke. I don't like John Locke.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I think that was the whole aim of the TED Talk, wasn't it?
It might be. So there's also the kind of the notion.
Anyway, this is my TED Talk. Fuck John Locke.
Yeah, fuck John Locke. What a hypocritical bitch. I forget where I was going with that now. Fuck.
It had something to do with John Locke's penis.
No, not his penis. I get a kicked out of his locked room concept, but that's about it.
It's a locker room talk.
Yeah, the locker room talk. But yeah, it's the bottom line is like you get locked in these notions about these things. Where I'm going with is like when you start trying to differ on rights that are inalienable and rights that aren't inalienable, which is arbitrary at that point because you either think they are or they aren't. You really do. It's kind of like you think harm is bad or harm is good, right? It's just one of those lines. They are or they aren't. There's not really a functional gradient because it doesn't make sense any other way. The construction of them being inalienable and endowed by the creator, the conclusion of that was supposed to be basically those ill-gotten gains we've taken by force. That's our right to it. It's a justification of a lot of bad behavior because that's the founding of the nation state. That's how we arrive at the ability to eradicate, native populations, black folk. Just pick an atrocity. It's all justifiable because we have an inalienable right to conduct ourselves in that manner.
Not to defend John Locke, because obviously fuck that guy, right?
Yeah.
But how within this construct do you justify the concept that something like slavery was clearly and demonstrably morally wrong, even when it was happening?
Because the nice thing is if you separate yourself from the inalienable rights concept, right, it's really easy to eyeball that situation and be like, maybe that guy shouldn't own him. It's very easy to start with the premise of I don't think that guy should be able to buy and sell people and their children.
But it does lend itself to having the concept of like, this is the thing that was just suddenly discovered then in the 1700s, 1800s,
yeah,
1500s.
It was Jamestown, Virginia. It was 1606 was the first instance of slavery in America. Jamestown, Virginia, 1606.
Yeah.
No. The freeing.
How about 10 years before
the
that?
The moral
10
shift
years before
within
that.
the U.S. where we say that this isn't the thing that is acceptable.
There was people kicking and screaming the whole time.
If you hold the view that rights are inalienable, you cannot help but side with the Confederacy. And the reason for that is the document that defines those inalienable rights. In this country, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Articles of Confederation, all those documents defended the right to slavery of the whites. So the inalienable rights argument is not a matter of their creator then is not Yahweh, the god of a subset of Arabs and Semites and Samaritans. They're clearly referring to white vaginas. Because you were birthed by a white vagina, you are endowed with a certain right to behave a certain way, and you get to continue to act like that. That's readily apparent because they mention, they are cognizant of the existence of Native Americans and black folk in that document, and they are cognizant of their lack of rights in that document. They know what they meant and they know what they said. We pretend they didn't say it now because that's an open attempt by the liberals to whitewash that history away and make it is to divorce slavery from its very real material conditions surrounding whiteness and instead launder it as sort of a freak moral failing phenomena that also happened to institutionally last, as you said, 1601 to 2025, and has been a global practice since before that, right? So when you say, like, how do you arrive at, if you're rejecting inalienable rights, how are you arriving at a conclusion that slavery is wrong under some sort of moral argument? We're stretching things here, but...
No. I'm just to be clear, you can obviously say that slavery is wrong. My usual position on this, which we have discussed in the past, but I'll repeat for our new guest, is if it feels right, or if it feels like fundamentally wrong, it's going to take an increased amount of convincing for me to concede that you might be correct, right?
Sure.
If the instinct is wrong, then I'm not saying that it is by nature. There are many things that we have found over the years that even though it feels incorrect, do prove themselves to be correct. But I'm going to take more effort to be convinced if it doesn't feel correct. And it doesn't feel correct to say that, in the 1600s, those, black people who were enslaved didn't have those rights and it was okay to not have those rights. And then in the 1700s, it was okay. It wasn't okay anymore.
Well, it's demonstrable, A, that they didn't have those rights. That's why they were slaves. Those were denied to them. You can't deny them something they have. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't deny
It's
me.
definitely a social construct.
Exactly.
Is anyone
So,
arguing against that point?
yeah, it was just argued against it. Yeah, he's just arguing against it right now. Yeah.
That inalienable rights are a social construct? You don't agree with that?
Yeah,
no, I think that there is something fundamental.
If you can be alienated from them, clearly.
Oh yeah, that's a really romantic idea. It's just fucking stupid.
I don't think it is.
I wouldn't say stupid, but it's wrong. It's not.
No, it's definitely not. We're using a lot of flowery language. Why don't we just get to the fucking let's reduce.
Because my man is
you don't
not.
Need paragraphs
he's not
to
the
explain
enemy.
Concepts. Like you said, your original premise was, now that I think I understand what it is, there is no fucking kidney stone that produces a right for you not to be raped, be pregnant, and then kicked off a ship because you're pregnant and they just don't want to deal with you. Like,
correct. Yeah, they did horrible shit like
so
that.
Yeah.
Of course,
they're definitely it is definitely a construct. It is a social construct. There is no goddamn God-given right.
No, there clearly can't be any inalienable rights because they were flagrantly violated. If they were endowed by the creator, there's an element of unassailability. Like the existence of a human being, we can say prima facie is not an inalienable right, but it is an inalienable condition of a living human being, right? It's just we also know that once that human being's alive, they're fair game to do all sorts of horrible shit, and there's no guarantee they'll make it past the gate. Those are two truths about life that we can say are absolute in all times and circumstances. We can't guarantee they'll get out of the womb alive, and we can't guarantee that once they've achieved that they will stay alive for any length of time or any quality of life that we may consider to be desirable.
Meaningful.
Yeah. Which, case in point.
So if and just so I'm understanding again, this is a very specific anti-John Locke sentiment that's tied up with the overall
This is a repeat fight that's tied up between Dan and I because I do feel like there is something special and unique to humanity.
Yeah, I get that.
And Dan is very certain that there is not.
I didn't say that. Just the notion of rights is not the thing.
Is not the thing.
It's not.
And you're specifically tying that to the abortion. Like your sentiment and thesis of anti-John Locke sentiment
he feels the abortion is the most clear-cut argument against me.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
He feels it's against me.
Right, and I said you're using that as an analog. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not talking to you.
You're correct.
Tough when you look at me like
if I understand you correctly, you are talking about anti-John Locke sentiment on the naturalist rights, natural-born rights, and you're using the analog right now as the current the conversation as abortion to try to state your point. And I'm just trying to make sure I understand, right?
More or less. I mean, I pick on John Locke here, but like Cicero's the one who cooks up the notion of natural rights in Rome, and he does it so he can, once again, he can justify slavery.
It's weird how this keeps coming up to justify slavery.
Right. That's so like
I will also concede that it is weird that it keeps coming up in relation to that specific thing.
That's I think the number one reason you should abandon it is because all the guys who agree with you are all slave masters. Like, if it's not demonstrable, it's a bad idea. Everybody who loves this idea is a slave master, or somebody like Cenk Uygur whose sympathies lie a lot with coming to a common ground with slave masters, which is like not all. Like, I'll agree it's different. I'll concede that that's different, but I don't think that's all that much better.
Was that a Young Turks stray?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Young Turks just got some strays. Okay.
The Young Turks catch a lot of strays around these parts.
Is that there's social democrats and we can't stand them sentiment? Is that what is that?
Well,
it's more like
worse.
Cenk shifted right over the years.
Oh yeah, I see that he's trying to reach across the aisle. He's definitely
the same man who was waving a copy of the New York Times saying America's safer Bush
Whoa,
says,
whoa.
saying you
I'm gonna have to
stuck
stop
New
you there.
York Times.
I'm gonna have to stop you there, though. You're still listening to Kanye, so like, how do you justify that?
What do you want
flip-flop?
from me?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
You still listen to Kanye, the Young Turks catching strays.
Kanye's also a piece of shit. What do you want from me? Is that the admission you want from me?
I don't know.
I'm happy to admit it.
I feel like
Kanye,
somebody smarter.
this is not a tough one for me. Kanye West can absolutely be a piece of shit. I've got no soft sentiments. I have less soft sentiments towards Kanye than I do Cenk Uygur. How about that?
The normal defenders, of the worst like behavior among black folk, who would be like the people who would like defend Nick Cannon by making the specific argument that Jews aren't real, right? So you can't offend. Like those people are like, Kanye's fucking up. That's how nobody in their right mind, nobody but Nick Fuentes is going.
Me being like, whenever I was in high school, Cenk Uygur sat in front of my TV as the first internet news station and waved a copy of the New York Times, screaming into a camera, "You suck, New York Times. Get fucking better at reporting."
Yeah.
You know, that person isn't necessarily on broadcast right now. Those are different Jenks nowadays.
Those are very different Jenks. You mean like it's a way different Cenk Uygur now, who's like reporting on fake criminal takeovers of Colorado apartments.
Yeah.
You know, who's falling into MAGA conspiracy theories and be like, it's true, they won't report it. Like, there's a reason they're not reporting it, Cenk. And the way they're reporting it is like, they've cooked up some really crazy shit and stalking people at this apartment complex. Like, that's what they're doing. And they're like, yeah, there's a fucking gang. The MS-13 took it over. The Venezuelan gangs took it over. And, like, Anna Kasparian's argument. Anna Kasparian recently joined a MAGA version of The View. She is now the token liberal on a MAGA version of The View.
This is wild.
Yeah, I think she might have even quit the Young Turks to do it.
That's such a whatever.
That's who she's been hanging out with.
When you go turf, that's what happens.
Hey, you're back, buddy.
Yeah, I didn't realize you guys would still be here.
Oh yeah. We're still technically in the rights debate, but we've gotten pretty way looser now.
Yeah, and the boys were having a good time in JP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what matters.
Is that what that was?
It's all relative. But yeah, I'll give Cenk Uygur a bit more leeway than Kanye West dressing up in fucking Black Klansman gear.
To be fair, Cenk still is critical of Israel, so like, yeah, he's gonna hold on a little bit longer
these days.
Well, right.
Will you vote for Senator Kanye Shrek in the next election?
It almost happened.
Although
it's going to be happening.
Yeah, right. I did say
That's
this
next
though.
year, baby.
I will say this. Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian are convinced that Josh Shapiro is the great white hope or the great Jewish hope for the Democratic Party, and Josh Shapiro is one of the things he's famous for is signing bombs to go blow up Israel. So when people are like,
a lot of people did that, to be fair.
Yeah, they're all bad.
Isn't he also famous for like making sure some friend of a friend's wife who got like stabbed in the back of the head a bunch of times? Like, isn't he also the guy that like is just like office says suicide? Sure. I thought that's what he was famous for.
Yeah, do we have any grounds on that one though? Like, I don't know if that's actually real or MAGA bullshit. I'm going with the thing I know he did.
Yeah, that one might be rock fact for
Wait,
sure.
no, we're talking about Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, right?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
It 100% he did that shit. It's this region. I'll get you. Let me see if I can find like some contemporaneous reporting
to
go along with like the shit that's come out lately. But here's the thing: like, I love reading dense, fucking like field specific lingo ridden bullshit. Like, I actually enjoy that shit. So yeah, let me see. Documents and reporting of the time plus like more recent shit bringing it up. That's gonna be my new little problem.
Okay. Well, on that note, how long are we still streaming?
Yeah.
The audience has been submitted to this.
Yeah, of course they have. Why
Those
wouldn't
poor
they be?
souls.
That was
Those
free
poor
content.
souls. That is free content. You're right.
That's exactly what we do.
Oh, yeah, that is the literal thing that we do, huh?
I have not performed this well on an episode in 4 years. I'm not even kidding. They've gotten the best content. Frankly, they're going to get pretty much ever from this show. Because I swear to God, I am not working this hard again.
We're turning it back down.
We're turning it back the fuck down.
We're going to leave the quality to mindful wellness.
Yeah, we're not. I'm not doing this quality. Okay, here we go. December 26, 2021.
You're welcome, June.
Ellen Greensburg case. She was found dead in 2011. So maybe I could find 2011 news articles about that allegation. It's weird that the internet seems to have been scrubbed of the largesse of this.
If you want to see what happened like after things fucked up, I would encourage you to look at least 2012 and maybe later, because you know how the court system is.
Well, yeah, I gotta find something. So retrieved November 2024 from May 2019. Retrieved August 20. This is from December 26. I have that article up. Manning teacher death ruled suspicious. That's from January 30th of 2021. That's a little bit more contemporary. Oh shit. Well, yeah, if it's considered a suicide, she was stabbed multiple times in the chest and torso, resulting in her death. Okay.
Very suicidal.
Very suicidal. Yeah, the guy threw himself into the ceiling fan. We've never seen anything like that. What a brutal suicide. His last audio recording is him doing multiple voices begging them not to murder him. It's a weird suicide. Okay, never mind. Like, that's two things. Like I said, the one thing I could pin
Way to
it
go,
to him. Yeah, way to go.
For remembering that really archaic piece of Shapiro lore.
Well, it's been, I mean, to be fair, I've heard it a lot recently. Like, I've heard that one a fucking lot. But there's the 2030 or the January 30th of 2011. Which would have been, for the record, I would have been employed with a certain institution for about 4 months at that point.
I can't read still, so that's where we're at.
Oh, so Dan is having reminiscences from when he was the young buck at his job.
Correct. January 31st, 2011, homicide or suicide. Conflicting findings arise in stabbing death of PA teacher. I'll fix it next time, CBS News.
Ugh. Do we...
Are you posting these somewhere, Dan?
I did post one of them.
Oh, there it is. I see it. Okay, cool.
To what level am I morally obliged to care that Trump is also now attacking PBS and NPR and all those things?
Those institutions are bourgeoisie scum, but also we need those more than we need Trump selling them off.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of things we want to take over.
And Mr. Rogers is kind of okay.
I think the way I think about it is that there's a lot of, like, other than actual PBS and actual NPR, yet there has to be, like, part of, like, whatever funding that's a chunk of, at least part of that has to be going to, like, independent shit.
The news
like
shit.
People who don't have the kind of budget that NPR and PBS have, and also don't have to you know, sell podcast adverts for like, you know, dick pills or weight loss drugs, like, you know. So that's why I'm allowed to feel bad about it, because the cuts are going to affect those people also, and I think they're worth caring about.
Yeah, I agree. That makes sense. Thanks, June.
Yeah.
Anytime, kid.
It's very, very odd. Pennsylvania Supreme Court hears to hear arguments over 2011 death of teacher. Yeah. Looks like you're using an ad blocker. No shit. Holy bejesus. Yeah, it doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. So what? It looks like the husband did it and blamed it on a suicide, and he was like, "I got you, brother." They did the meme where it's like the black guy bumping hands with the white guy.
As far as what happened, like I'm not saying it was that guy, but I wouldn't be super surprised if he was the domino that started the series of events that got somebody to kill her. But, you know, I think in that realm. However, it's not impossible, because I remember earlier than this, I think it was the 90s, there was a very well-connected wealthy fella who murdered, I can't remember if it was like his wife or his girlfriend, and he put her in a cooler, like probably like one of those big Yeti coolers, drilled holes
in the 90s.
Or what, you know, whatever the top of the line one was, and also big. So he put her in the cooler. He wrapped big heavy ass chains around. He was smart enough to drill some holes in it. Or actually, wait, was that how he got caught? Anyway, he had this cooler. He had like bigger than like motorcycle chains, like wrapped around this thing. He put it on his boat and he dumped it in the bay. And like eventually they found her. I mean, they're pretty sure he killed her, but like then they actually had the body. You know, they habeas corpus. And
corpus.
You know, and yeah, and I'm pretty sure he got convicted, and maybe that's how it made it into the news. Like, it's interesting. Like, I'm thinking about it right now. I'm not sure if like a local kind of big deal story like that would make it on the news anymore.
Yeah. It's fucking crazy.
But anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what we got for you, America.
Yeah, that is.
Thinking, Hackney, whatever.
All right, y'all. We love you. Don't die. Bye.